welcome to this very special World Championship and Asian Games interview with one of my favorite athletes. I mean, if you watch badminton and if you've not watched HS Prannoy play this year, you've missed something if you're an Indian badminton fan. Even when he lost to Victor Axelsen in that particular match, each one of us were like, this is one guy who can take down Axelsen at any point in time. After that first game, even in the second game, 11-7, 14-11, HS Prannoy has played some extraordinary matches this year. Close ones, some he might have lost like in Australia, but each time he's played, you will believe that here is one player who can win it for the tricolour. Prannoy, is this the best badminton you've played in your career in this year? What you're playing?
Looks like that, I would say yes. Because I don't think I've ever played two Super 500 finals in a span of 4 to 5 months, and definitely not in a year, I would say. So to have played two in a year, to have played two in 4 months, I would say is a good result as such. And yeah, I would say a good year until now, and probably will keep getting better.
So the reason I asked you this is when I see the Asian circuit, the third tournament, making the final, playing consecutive long matches, and then that extraordinary final, which unfortunately did not go our way, but to have that physicality, to be able to play the third tournament with the same intensity and a long match says a lot. Can you talk to me about that bit a little bit, please?
Yeah, I think a lot of credit goes to the team as such. I think apart from Bhaiya and Guru, I think there's a lot of work done by the trainers, the psychologist group, and definitely the nutritionist. I think these three has been a very constant in my journey in the last 4 years. They have been constantly there, and especially the trainer, I would say. I think programs have definitely helped me get to a level where we are playing back-to-back big matches. There's been a lot of trial and error in the last 1.5 years which we're trying out which kind of training is working, especially during tournaments. And now we have kind of figured that out in the last 6 months or all, where we have stuck to a certain plan which is working for me, and I think the trainer, I think Rohan is able to travel for a lot of tournaments. He was there for me in Japan and Australia, and that definitely made a big difference in preparation as such. And to recover for each day's match and probably do what you need to do on the match days is very, very important, which we might miss a lot of times when we are playing. So that's why you must have seen me being at such a good level of fitness, especially getting in the third tournament. Mentally and physically, I had to be there. You need that extra push when it comes to the third week, and that happened in Australia.
To be honest, you look great. You actually look great, and I'll make no qualms about it. You look very, very impressive. So that's the truth. And coming to a slightly different question, Prannoy. I mean, when I see the draw, and I put it on record, I was having a conversation with Gopi, and I said to him, when I see the draw, what do you think? And before even I could finish my question, he said, look, I'm not fussed about the draw. There's nothing called a good draw or a bad draw. If you have to win a tournament, and Prannoy is actually playing at that level to be able to win a tournament, whether it's World Championship or the Super 1000 in China or the Asian Games, he can win any one of it, or all, or most. He can win any match. So that's when you don't think about the draw. How do you look at the draw, for example, for the World Championship? Because it's a tough draw when we look at it from outside. But as a player who's doing it day in, day out, how do you look at such things?
Yeah, I think I would completely agree to what Bhaiya said, because I'm somebody who is, I think, I don't look at the draws much because when you look at the men's singles draw, as I said before also, I think the top 32 is really tricky out there. Anybody can be a tough opponent on a particular day. So it all boils down to what I play on that particular day. And but I think for Worlds, I would say we didn't have much of preparation time, to be honest. I think I came back from Australia last week, and there have been few nibbles and pains post Australia, and we're just getting back to the groove once again this week. So there's hardly any time which I would say we got for preparation. And when I look at the calendar, I would say there are going to be phases like this where you're not going to be 100%, you're not going to be person on the fitness side, but you'll have to be going out there and winning matches. And I think that's one thing which I've realized, and I've been able to do that with 60-70% of fitness too in the recent times. And I think that's what has been the biggest difference in my game, where even though if I'm not 100% on a particular day, I am able to pull through matches. But I will have to do in World Championship also coming next week, because to be honest, I'm not really looking forward like big time for the World Championship, because I'm just taking it as one more tournament which we are playing this year, because we have playing almost 20 odd tournaments this year. So I think you have to respect the body in that way. I have to respect my body in that way and say that we pushed really well in the last 3 weeks, and before that also the 5 weeks we really pushed, and just time to take it a little easy on the body and give it time to recoup and get back to its best. I think I'll have to keep doing that in between the circuit. I'll have to keep that time, and but it's important that I have the mentality to fight in the World Championship, and I'll just keep doing that. So draws are not going to be a big factor as such. Yes, I have to dig deep from straight in the first round. So, but I think it's fun. It's fun to do that, and I will keep doing that.
So when you say World Championship is not something you're obsessed with, if that's the word that I can use, but in our country we move from one multidiscipline event to another multidiscipline event. How do you look at the Asian Games? Because a lot of us will put pressure on you, because we will say, Prannoy, give us a medal. Come the Asian Games, come the Olympic Games, we will say, hey, this is your platform. You've been right up there, now come and give us a medal, because that's what we want from our best. How are you looking at the Asian Games?
Yes, I think that pressure is always good, and I would say not many are getting that chance to take that pressure, because unless and until you play at the top level, you're not getting that kind of pressure from the fans. And I think that's good from one point, because you know that people believe in you, people believe that you have the game in you to win any of these kind of big titles. So I think that's always an extra bonus. And yes, looking at the Asian Games, yes, we have a decent time to prepare and get to the Asian Games, and especially looking at the team event before the individuals, I would say we have a good chance. Looking at the team, we have almost a Thomas Cup team squad going for Asian Games, and I would say we would love to come back with a medal in the Asian Games team event first, and I'm sure in individuals also. It's I think it's going to be really tough going out there. Everybody's gunning for that medal, and it's not going to be easy. But I would say Asian Games is one place I would say I would really want to perform well and get that big medal to the country.
So comparatively, World Championship and Asian Games, based on these two answers, if I can start to be a mind reader, I think Prannoy is telling me that Asian Games perhaps is the occasion where we will see that sort of extra urge. Am I right in saying that? Or it will be the same intensity because it's the World Championship?
Well, see, as I said, it all boils down to how the body is, and I've realized that there is no point in me trying to push my body when it is not ready, and then you can be out for a good 3-4 months, and I don't want to do that at this point of time. And I think I've had these kind of moments where in the past also, where you try to push that extra and then you're off for 4 to 5 months, and then nobody is getting the benefit out of it. So I think it's better to be safe at this point and play according to what the body says. But I would say, yes, I need that little bit break to push hard on the training side and then get to big tournament. And I would say Asian Games will have that kind of a break post China, and I might get a good 2 weeks to train with Bhaiya and Guru, and then we can have that good intensity training coming in, which will eventually help me in the Asian Games. So that's why I said probably the Asian Games might be the one which I might be able to push a little bit more.
Excellent. Okay.
Considering World Championship, which is just starting on Monday. So yeah.
Yeah, what I like about this interview so far is the clarity. I mean, not many people would have told me what you just told me. You opened up and said and put it in context exactly how a player thinks, because from the outside it is difficult to understand these questions. So I appreciate that, Prannoy, because from the outside it's like, come on, why is Prannoy not playing with the same intensity? How is it not, he's played some great matches. Why are we not seeing it? It's not possible to do it day in, day out, and you put that in context very well. Last couple of questions before I let you go. One, when I see HS Prannoy comparatively post Thomas Cup, even in body language, that aggression, the scream, it's changed. You are a much more confident player. You are a much more aggressive player. And now when an opponent plays HS Prannoy, is like, was I going to play Prannoy? Do you also feel there has been a change in yourself in terms of confidence and your body language and everything else as a package?
Yes, definitely. I think, as I said, a lot of things change when you keep getting a lot of matches under your belt. That confidence keeps getting better, and I think the last 2 years that has changed quite a bit. And I think a lot of credit goes to the psychologist side and the way they have been able to get me sorted on a lot of different issues which were happening on court mentally, and we were trying to do a lot of things differently on court, and I think that has helped to change the perception of me on just playing a few big matches, and to kind of changing that to playing big matches. And I think we just wanted to change that number from 3 or 4 matches in a year to probably play 12 to 15 matches in a year in that same intensity. And that was the initial target, and probably that has come in place post Thomas Cup, because a lot of confidence came in post Thomas Cup and a lot of matches came under the belt. And I would say yes, there's a whole lot different body language as such when I get into the court. And as you said, people think yes, I have to play against Prannoy and it's not going to be easy. And I think probably the attitude is to just keep trying until the end, and somewhere or other things keeps changing in the match, and that's what I'm trying to do, not just let go, because situation keeps changing in the match, and I trust that situation keeps changing according to how I want it, and just want to keep trying until that changes.
How do you, sport teaches us, and Abhinav, for example, one of my dear friends keeps telling me that sport teaches you how to lose. Gopi says the same, that you come back from a loss better. But when you play a match like a 71 shot rally, and then 19-14, and then it just goes away, maybe 1 point, how hard is it, Prannoy? How hard is it? I mean, do you sort of feel that, and you curse yourself for a period? And in your case, I spoke to you that particular night, and I was finding it hard. Leave alone, I mean, you were there. You're the man there. How difficult are these things to sort of cope with? Because we keep talking about an athlete's mental health, but unfortunately in India we only talk about winners. We don't talk about when things don't go our way. How difficult is it?
It is difficult. I'm not denying that it's not difficult. It is difficult, and sometimes it's I would say sometimes it's good to feel that what do you say, that bad mood. Sometimes you don't want to let go of that moment, and you just want to keep holding it, and just want to feel it for a while rather than just letting it go. Sometimes I think it's important to just feel that sadness at times. And I would say yes, Australia was a little bit sad because I was nowhere in the game, but I fought really hard to get into that game, and then I was in a comfortable position. Then I let that go of in Australia finals. And sometimes you think you say that you didn't close it the right point. You had to be a little bit more patient enough to close it. But there's a lot of things which you learn from these kind of matches, and And I think for me, it didn't stay for long. To be honest, I was out for a night. I was just a little bit disappointed, but next day I understood that I have to be very grateful that I played one more final. And I had to be always grateful in the fact that I'm getting these many matches under belt and playing Super 500s, finals, able to play 750,000 quarterfinals, and I think I have to be grateful in that way, and I have to keep believing that that big win will come at some point, which is going to be a much bigger tournament, and I just have to be extremely cautious to grab that moment. So I think it just teaches you a lot of things in these kind of defeats. But I think it's really good that these kind of things keeps happening in between, so that you are very much alert in the coming few months.
I'll finish it there. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. All I will say is, just go about doing what you are doing and enjoy doing it. I mean, it's a process. As you said, grab the moment when you know it's there, and maybe at the biggest stage of all. Who knows? Maybe it's the Asian Games, maybe it's the Olympic Games, and Prannoy will etch his name into immortality doing that, and we'll all be there. We'll be there to celebrate you. Trust me. I'll keep sort of talking to you, speaking to you, celebrating you, enjoying the shots that you play, because you give us a lot of joy. You're good for sport, Prannoy. You're good for sport.
Thank you.
And you've sort of come through difficult times, injuries, mental issues, and you've come up the hard way. It's not come easy to you, and look at where you are. You're in the top bracket of the world in your sport. Gives us a lot of joy. Well done. Keep going.
Thank
all
you.
the very best for the World Championships, of course, the China Open and the Asian Games. We'll all be there in China to celebrate you in person, and maybe that chicken pizza will be with us. You, me, and Gopi, and all of us will celebrate together after that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.